30 stories tall. It costs $1.1 billion to make. 5 of the world's largest glass doors to get in this place. And yeah, they've got the Super Bowl in 2018. Just a fantastic view, John. It doesn't feel like you're inside because they have these transparent tiles on the roof, so the sunlight comes in. It's going to be a great place to play football for these Vikings who have the Chargers today. And now down to the field we go as we say hello to the third member of our team again, Pam Oliver.
Hey there, Kevin. Well, the excitement of this stadium isn't lost on the visiting team. For a mere preseason game, the Chargers did a rare thing. They had a full walkthrough on Saturday. Philip Rivers was a little amused, a little bewildered by that, but he said he totally gets it, the hype of this new stadium. And the fans, too, are right by it. They are all down on the field, great suites, great upper deck, and it's a place that they want fans to feel like it is part of Minnesota football. Back to you.
I like it, Pam. So if we go down to Pam and we don't hear from her, she's probably having like a nice lunch down there. That's now we know what happened.
Extraordinary, Gavin. This place is awesome. I mean, we asked Teddy Bridgewater, and he said one word, awesome, and that's exactly what it is. It's massive, yet intimate, great sight lines for all the fans, a tremendous new stadium here in Minnesota.
They take some things from a lot of different stadiums. This area down below, kind of the Cowboys have that with their stadium. Spanish language broadcast today, available on both Fox Deportes and by utilizing the SAP button, SAP, on our broadcast. So feel free to do that. As we get set for the kickoff, the Chargers won the toss. They deferred. Mike Zimmer, in his third year in Minnesota, already in 2 years, he's got this franchise on the cusp of, they think, being Super Bowl contenders.
He's done a tremendous job here. He's known as a defensive guy. He's built that, and he's molded an offense in the way he wants to. There's Mike McCoy in his 5th season. And tough division in that AFC West. Not happy at all with the 4-12 season. They got a new attitude in San Diego, Kevin.
Josh Lambo kicks it off. Cordell Patterson back to receive. And we are underway in Minneapolis. Out across the 25 is Patterson. And so we will get our first look at this Vikings offense. And as John said in the open, all eyes are definitely on their quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater, this year for his game to see if he could take it to the next level in his 3rd season.
You know, but a lot of people are critical locally and nationally of Teddy Bridgewater. The one thing, and you just saw the graphic, that Mike Zimmer says he loves about him, the kid knows how to win. That's exactly what he's done. I think he can take it to the next level. They've been working on taking the ball downfield some with Teddy Bridgewater with great results in this preseason.
Jerick McKinnon will get the start at running back. That's him, number 21. Bridgewater has time, going to sling it near side. Stephon Diggs with a completion and what looks to be a first down on the first play of the game.
Great job to get Teddy Bridgewater in the flow of the game. Little shallow cross by Stephon Diggs, who was remarkable in his rookie year last year. That's what a young man can do. He can catch, and then the yards after the catch that are so important in this league today.
Diggs really had a breakout year last year. He's had a good camp, according to the Vikes. Told you that McKinnon is starting running back. No Adrian Peterson today. They want to keep him fresh for the regular season. So it's McKinnon right up the middle. And a big hole for Jerick McKinnon. Still going inside the 30 to rile up this crowd.
Well, who needs Adrian Peterson when your offensive line blocks like that? Tremendous job up front. You watch Fusco, the right guard, in the center. Berger, the fullback, Zach Line, a big hole. And Jerick McKinnon, one thing he has is burst and speed, but that's a big hole. And the Chargers, they've been a couple of different defenses this preseason. Against Tennessee, it wasn't good against the run. Last week, they cleaned it up versus the Arizona Cardinals. Not good here early.
And so a 45-yard run from McKinnon. Looked like some movement. There's a flag, and McKinnon is hit behind the line and dropped. So let's get the call. John Hussey, in his 2nd year as a referee, has our game today.
Offside. Defense number 94. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
That's on Corey Leggett. And So a first down and 5. That'll move the Vikings down to the 23. So he showed you McKinnon with a big run. The Vikings, yeah, Peterson's led the league in rushing last year, but they've got 3 very capable running backs on their roster.
And what I like about them, they're all different. They all give you a little something different. Peterson obviously does everything remarkably well.
High snap, Bridgewater corrals, and then with a good throw, and it's Diggs again out to the far side. And Stephon Diggs will move the chains again. Another good throw.
Really good throw. Tough snap, but one thing Teddy Bridgewater has always demonstrated is poise. He takes the high snap, gets his feet set, throws an accurate football to Stephon Diggs.
And so the Vikings on their opening possession with a good drive going here.
52. Set.
On first down, they'll run it, cut back McKinnon, and a good one. Spin, Stephon. Down.
Look, we've talked a lot about, and we've heard a lot about, wanting to air it out more, but this team is built for that guy right there, Adrian Peterson. Offensively, you have a defensive head coach. He wants to run the football, and he wants to run it well, and they're doing so without Adrian Peterson. That's just tremendous blocking up front. Alex Boone, the new left guard here in Minnesota, and Jerick McKinnon running with authority on the first drive.
And a first and goal from the 7 coming up. McKinnon one more time, and he falls forward. He's going to get about 2 on that carry. And this offensive line, a big focus for the Vikings last year, because Bridgewater, yeah, he had some faults, but he had a lot of pressure.
Oh, he was under duress all of last year. And Mike Zimmer, he focused on it. They changed the coach. They bring in Tony Sperano to coach this offensive line. But you see, Teddy Bridgewater just lived under duress last year. And Mike Zimmer really believes the one focus was really, let's improve that offensive line. They really feel it will improve this entire team, and I agree with them.
They went out and got Alex Boone, the former 49er, Andre Smith, the former Bengal, on the right side, so they brought in some veteran help. Second down and goal, empty backfield they go. Bridgewater going to throw a fade and a little high. He was looking for Charles Johnson there. It'll be a third and goal.
You know, we talk a lot about what you emphasize gets done. Well, in this league, you also, who you pay, they tend to play better.
That's true.
They've gone out, they've put their money where their mouth is, and they've paid this offensive line a pretty penny. Matt Khalil, the left tackle, a new contract. Andre Smith and Boone they bring in. They also get John Sullivan back at the center position. He's in a battle with Joe Berger for that center position.
Khalil not playing today on the left side. He's been banged up a little bit. TJ Clemmings is over there at the left tackle. Third and goal for the Vikings. 3-man rush. Bridgewater fires incomplete. He threw into a crowd there. Looked like he was trying to get it to Charles Johnson, so they'll have to settle for a field goal.
And the nice thing, if you're a Vikings fan, that you're encouraged by right there is the time that Teddy Bridgewater had. He had time to look across. It's good coverage by the Chargers defense. Ultimately, he and Kyle Rudolph weren't on the same page.
And so they'll set up for a 23-yard field goal for Blair Walsh. Of course, a lot of attention around him this camp after missing the 27-yard kick that would have won the game in the playoffs last year. But he's handled it well, and so has the team. And he puts that one up and through. And so a good drive for the Vikings starting offense. They take a 3-0 lead, but we get Phillip Rivers and the Chargers offense when we come back to Minneapolis. McCoy is a Chargers head coach coming off a 4-12 year. They had a ton of injuries, all kinds of issues last year, so they've got a lot of work to do. Brandon Oliver back deep to receive the kickoff. And it's Walsh who sends it deep, and Oliver won't have a return. And so they'll start on the 25. So here are these Chargers. What happened to them last year, you ask? Well, again, there were a few things. Good news is Phillip Rivers was great. I mean, he just missed the all-time record for the Chargers, Dan Fouts. He missed it by 10 yards. They couldn't run the ball, though. Part of the reason, 26 different offensive line combinations. It's hard to get any continuity when you're doing that. And that leads to a 4-12 record. You don't block, John? Kind of hard to get some production.
Yeah, and that makes what Phillip Rivers did last year even more impressive. All those combinations, and he's thrown for almost 5,000 yards. A testament to who he is as a quarterback.
And they will start out on the 25. That's right, new rule this year. Touchbacks, you start on the 25, not the 20. In case you didn't know about that. And quickly goes over the middle to a rookie, Hunter Henry, a tight end the Chargers really like and should get a lot of playing time.
And I see why they like him. You turn on the film, he's wise beyond his years. He sees things, and you talk to Phillip Rivers, he agrees. Hunter Henry just has a great feel for the game. Antonio Gates, we won't see him. He's on that Adrian Peterson plan. Let's get him ready for the regular season. But Hunter Henry, they are sky high on him.
One guy who should have potential for a big year is their second-year man, Melvin Gordon. He's had running back, and we'll talk a lot about him tonight. Get a down rookie year. There he is, and he'll get it. And Gordon sprints through for a first down and still going. So hard running by Melvin Gordon. And John, you know, last year big expectations out of Wisconsin, second in the Heisman, and he came out and he didn't score a single touchdown, and it just didn't look like the same guy.
Well, we found out later that his knee was ailing him all through the year, and you see that 26 different O-line combinations. A rookie's getting used to this league and then has no continuity with his offensive line. Everybody from Phillip Rivers to Mike McCoy to Ken Wisenhunt says, though, we've seen the light go on for Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon feels the same way as he told us yesterday.
Here's Danny Woodhead. He comes in the game, and he'll get a carry. And he's going to be held to about 2 yards by this Vikings defense. And I know you're high on this Vikings defense. They've improved every year under Mike Zimmer.
Yeah, they really have, and you see that improvement with the graphic there. But what I look at when I look at a defense, I look at all three levels. And you look at the Vikings starting up front with guys like Linval Joseph and Everson Griffin. You go to the linebackers, Anthony Barr, I think an emerging star in this league, and Harrison Smith, as good as any safety in football right now. All three levels, they have exceptional players.
2nd and 8. Pressure coming from Hunter. Rivers steps up, throws, tip. Oh, and it's intercepted. Harrison Smith has it for Minnesota.
Harrison Smith, we talked to him yesterday. He got the big contract, and we asked him about that, and he said, well, the responsibility that comes along with that, number one, you got to make plays. And here he is making plays, and he owes a big assist to Trey Waynes, who's going to deflect the ball going against the Chargers' #1 receiver in Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's going to be upset with himself. Number one, he needs to come back for that ball. Number two, he's got to catch it. It results in a nice interception for Harrison Smith and the Minnesota Vikings.
One thing, as good as you're talking about their defense and the potential they have, they didn't turn it over a ton. They got 22 of them. That was 19th in the league, and they all told us when we visited with them that's something they've got to do better. Well, that's a start, and so good field position here. For the first down at the 44. Bridgewater slings it, almost a one-handed catch by the tight end Rudolph, but he couldn't hang on.
When you're a defensive player, after a turnover, they call this the alumni zone, because in college it's where the alumni, the prominent alumni sit. As a defensive player, right after a turnover, they're taking a shot. Norv Turner does exactly that, tries to take a shot downfield to Kyle Rudolph. Good play by Adrian Phillips, who's filling in for Jaleel Adai at the strong safety position.
On 2nd down, it's McKinnon. Little stutter. He kind of finds his way for a gain of almost 4 down to the 40-yard line.
You know, Kevin, we talk about this offensive line. One of the things I love, and there he is, Alex Boone right there. Not only is he a very good player, but this team, this offensive line was beat down by the media, and rightly so. They didn't play well last year. Mike Zimmer, I think, brought him in as much to make these guys feel good about themselves. This guy is full of personality, so fun to talk to. Maybe one of my favorite production meetings of all time, a character.
Full of personality might be an understatement. Bridgewater in trouble, escapes, a little juke, and Bridgewater with the leg sliding down inside the 20, and it's a first down.
And you see the Chargers generated some pressure, but enough of a pocket that Teddy Bridgewater could find the seams in it. And then we forget Teddy Bridgewater has some athleticism to him. And I think Adrian Phillips will attest to that.
That was, I mean, I didn't know Teddy had that in him.
Put that on film.
And so the Vikings offense looking sharp in this early going. 1st and 10. And this is Asiata, the third running back on this crew, who gets a lot of time too. Normally, regular season, Adrian Peterson is always first and second down, some thirds. McKinnon and Asiata play a lot on this team. They will.
They will, and they should. They're really good players. I think they want to elongate Adrian Peterson's career. I think Mike Zimmer, in talking to him, he wants to play these guys even more, talking about McKinnon and Asiata, just so that Adrian Peterson can remain fresh. Now, Adrian Peterson won't like hearing that, because that guy, like he said, all day, I never get tired.
Well, he's 31 years old, so they have to start thinking about that. 2nd and 7. And we get a whistle. Someone moved from Minnesota, it appeared.
It's Kyle Rudolph, got a little antsy.
False start. Offense, number 82. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
So on the first drive, John, we saw the Vikings go right down the field, settle for a field goal. It's an area where they can improve. They were 24th in the league last year, scoring touchdowns in the red zone. How do they do it is the question.
You know, they should be a good red zone team because they run the football so well, and that usually leads to success. But I think one thing we saw late last year, Kyle Rudolph, Teddy Bridgewater learned to trust him when he's covered. And I think that's a guy that could pay huge dividends for him.
Here over the middle, Diggs, who has a nice cutback, and he's inside the 10, and that'll be a 1st and goal. Nice move by Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs, what you like about him is that he's one of these guys that can do a little bit of everything. He can beat you on a go route down the field, very explosive, but also this dirty work underneath. He's not afraid to find the zone, go in there where the linebackers and all those mean, nasty guys are. He can do it all. Stephon Diggs has a bright future in this league.
Second time the Vikings have had the ball, and they've got another 1st and goal. McKinnon back in the game. They'll fake it to him and throw. Almost intercepted. Kyle Emanuel, very athletic play, and it's incomplete.
A quick play action. They're looking to get Zach Line, the fullback, in the flat. And Kyle Emanuel diagnoses it. Sees the play action. As soon as he's not blocked by that fullback, get your hands up. Very nice job by Kyle Emanuel, a guy that John Pagano, the defensive coordinator, and everybody with these San Diego Chargers feels is ready to take the next step in his development in his second year.
They go jumbo formation to give McKinnon running right up the guts. And he's going to get to about the 6. So a 3rd and goal coming up. These Vikings will use, you touched on it, they will go, last year at least they did, a lot of 3 tight end formation. They're just getting back Red Ellison, who came back from a torn patellar tendon in his knee. But they've got Rudolph, they've got Michael Pruitt, they have this kid David Morgan, who's had a good camp. So they use a lot of their tight ends.
They've got good tight ends, and that's always been Norv Turner's history. He likes to run the football. A lot of tight ends these days, they give you tremendous versatility. Pruitt has some receiver skills to him. Rudolph, a very good player at the tight end position. He's going to use them all. 3 wideouts here, though, on a 3rd and goal.
4-man rush. Oh, pressure. Bridgewater in trouble, and down he goes. It was Corey Leggett who gets the sack. So the Chargers defense bending but not breaking.
Well, and Leggett's working against TJ Clemens and Boone, and he splits with the stunt. He splits Boone and TJ Clemens. Now remember, TJ Clemens is not their starting left tackle. Matt Khalil is. He's out today, and it's something that the Vikings were a little concerned with because that's a big responsibility, that blind side, and it bites them early.
Blair Walsh, 33 yards out, perfect. So a couple of Walsh field goals, that time 33 from Walsh, but it was the interception that tipped by Waynes. Harrison Smith with the pick, and a little dead leg drop from Teddy Bridgewater. 6-0 Vikings. And they've seen the Vikings offense go down the field, just haven't punched it in. A couple field goals by Blair Walsh, had an interception by Harrison Smith, and now the kickoff. It's Oliver. Gets a block and fighting his way out to the 25, where he would have been if he took a knee. Anyway, and so we get to see Mr. Competitor Philip Rivers. Oh, he's licking his chops. Ready to season, regular season gets going in 2 weeks. Can't wait. Glad to have you aboard. Along with Pam Oliver and John Lynch, I'm Kevin Burkhardt, and here's Philip Rivers giving to Melvin Gordon, and he's got a short carry up to the 28 or 9. You know, John, we met with Philip Rivers yesterday. I'd never heard this before. He said, this game feels like a regular season game. I said, what?
Yeah, you know, I think a couple factors there, and he explained it. First of all, you don't usually play preseason games on Sundays.
Right.
So a Sunday early start in Minnesota. Now, the other part of it, he got worn out by Minnesota last year. He got hit in that game where Minnesota beat them up. He got hit all day long, so he was ready, and he wants to pay him back. That's how competitive he is. These guys got one on, we owe them, is what Phillip Rivers was talking about yesterday.
2nd and 6, 4-man rush. Rivers in trouble, and he's just going to throw it away. Nothing there. Yeah, the competitiveness, you know, that's what makes all the greats who they are. But Mike McCoy said, you know, he's the type of guy, I'll take away a 2-minute drill, and he gets all bent out of shape in practice.
Well, he just did 2 days ago, Friday. Mike thought I'd let, you know, take some practice off, freshen these guys' legs up, and Phillip wore him out about, hey, we need this 2-minute drill.
There's Mike McCoy, and Rivers and company have a 3rd down and 6.
This is an area, Kevin, where the Minnesota Vikings get tricky. They show all these linebackers up. You never know where they're coming. They've really grown this scheme, and it gives people fits.
Ends up being a 4-man rush, and it's blocked up, and Rivers has a 1st down. That's his new receiver, Travis Benjamin. Guy they brought over from Cleveland and gave him big money on the first time they're playing together in a game.
And you can really sense that Phillip Rivers wanted to throw a football to Travis Benjamin in live action. You see him hang in there in the pocket, buy time. And one thing Travis Benjamin, he gives them something they haven't had, and that's all-out speed. He can flat out get it, and he's a welcome addition to the San Diego Chargers.
Chargers go 3 wideouts on a 1st and 10. Woodhead in the backfield, he'll get it. Not much there. Robinson was there on the tackle.
You know, one thing, Kevin, I loved hearing from Phillip Rivers in his 13th year, and I love the quote. He said, listen, yesterday when we're talking to him, I think I enjoy Monday through Saturday more than I do on Sunday, and that's because he loves trying to figure out the puzzle, and the puzzle is opposing defenses. There's nothing like on Sunday when it all comes to fruition, but the thought process, the preparation that goes into Monday to Saturday, that's when you know a guy still has years to play, and that should make everyone in San Diego happy.
Orange.
2nd and 10, blitz coming. Look out! Anthony Barr just ate alive Danny Woodhead there. It's a loss of 3.
But Kevin, for the folks at home, Anthony Barr, he's going to come right down here and just blitz the gap. And you're looking at really one of the up-and-coming stars on the defensive side of the ball in this league. Anthony Barr had a fabulous season last year, and I think the sky is the limit moving forward for him. Just got everything you want in a linebacker in today's football.
3rd and 13. Has time. Rivers over the middle, incomplete. A little low. He was going for Keenan Allen and just couldn't get it there.
You know, the Minnesota Vikings, we saw that double-A gap look where all the linebackers are up. It makes you focus on the protection so much that even a guy like Phillip Rivers, it gives you so much information overload that sometimes it affects your accuracy. And you saw a ball that Phillip Rivers usually connects on right there go low, but I think they throw so much at you. Even a guy who's played that long, it plays with your head a little bit.
This is Kaiser, rookie punter, and a booming kick. Sherrill's going to let it go. Beauty. What a job by Kaiser out of Texas A&M. Hang time of 4.5 seconds, and the Vikings will start deep in their own territory. So a good one here from Minnesota as they open their new stadium. The fans are hungry for it, and it's a 6-0. You know, Bosa's not in camp, and he's so far behind. And John, Chargers need this guy. That's the bottom line too.
No doubt about it. And you know, the sad thing is the system is not set up to have holdouts anymore. It used to be just part of the game, not anymore. And he needs to get himself in camp. I think the Chargers came hard with a solid effort last week. He turned it down, which made the Chargers dig in even a little more. But for both sides, you got to figure this out. The young man's got to get in camp. He can help him out.
Well, it's not a good situation, and he's way behind the 8 ball now. So the Chargers doing without him. And add into the fact that Damian Square, one of the rotational defensive tackles, is going to be suspended for the first 4 games for missing a drug test, not for failing it. So they're thin in that area. There is Square. We just showed him. He is allowed to play in the preseason. That'll be the last play of the first quarter. Bridgewater will throw over the middle. McKinnon, short game. And that should take us to the end of the first.
Kevin, one of the things you like hearing Mike McCoy yesterday, look, at business is business, but he's his coach, and he said, look, as soon as he walks in the door, he's one of us. Do I want him here? You're darn right I do. They need him.
They do. They don't have him yet. They do have Phillip Rivers, that's for sure, but his offense hasn't gotten going. In the field, John Lynch, 9-time Pro Bowl safety, and I'm Kevin Burkhardt. And so we start the second quarter from brand new stadium in Minneapolis, and it is gorgeous. We'll continue to show you throughout the game. 3rd down and 7. Vikings backed up here inside their own 10. And just some movement. And we get a flag.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 95. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
It's on Tenny Palapoy.
And a smart play by Teddy Bridgewater. You're sitting there at 3rd and 7. Why not try to get 5 of that in a cheap fashion? And Tenny Palapoy, you got to know better. I mean, that just comes with the territory in the NFL. These quarterbacks are smart. They've a couple years ago started taking the hard count to the shotgun. And Tenny Palapoy's got to be on his keys there a little bit more.
Watch the top of your screen for Minnesota. That's Laquan Treadwell, their receiver they drafted out of Ole Miss. Hoping he's having a big year. They're going to run it, though. And good effort. It's going to be close for McKinnon. Adrian Phillips came down there to make a play, and now we'll see on the spot. I think he's a little shy.
See Adrian Phillips. He's going to shoot the gap, get in the backfield. But McKinnon does an excellent job of looking like Adrian Peterson, keeping those legs churning and falling forward. And we're going to have a measurement to see if he did get the first down.
That was a pretty impressive drive forward. McKinnon's not a big guy, only listed at 5'9", 209.
Talk about the Chargers. Adrian Phillips playing in place of Jaleel Addae. The safety position is a place that I do believe that they're real thin. Eric Weddle left. They really did nothing to replace him. They brought Dwight Lowry in, but they, I think, are lacking in talent and depth at the safety position.
Weddle is kind of a strange one. You see the Vikings got the first down. I mean, this guy was really a lifeblood of the Chargers for 9 years on defense, and they just kind of let him walk to Baltimore. And sure, that'll be tough to replace. As a first down for Minnesota, and they'll continue this drive early in the second quarter. On a 1st and 10, McKinnon, a stutter, and not much there. So a lot of pressure on this Vikings offensive line. We told you the money they spent on it this year, $31 million. 4-year, $27 million contract to Alex Boone, who is a monster. I mean, he looks like an offensive lineman, and I'm telling you, you asked him the other day about bringing attitude, and I don't think I stopped laughing for a half hour.
He was beautiful. He said, look, this league has gotten so soft. Here's the deal. There's about 3 dirty players in this league, and everybody knows who they are. And look, let's stop with the illusion. This is a nasty game. You want to kill that guy aside on the other side from me. That's our job.
Well, Bridgewater tripped up. And he'll just kind of stay down.
You know, and he's right. Look, I understand there's some issues with the concussions and all the effects of that, and the league's doing a great job getting on top of that and studying it. But we can't forget, I don't want to say violent, because violent means you're trying to injure the opponent, but it's a physical sport. And your job's to move people, to try to inflict some pain on people, and Alex Boone understands that. I think they're going to love what they get, because a guy like that in that offensive line room, he's going to make everybody better around him.
Asked him about the courting process coming to Minnesota. He said, well, they tell you they want to bring back old school football in a new school world. You lick your chops for that. The guy is a gem. After this sack, they call that, because Bridgewater tripped 3rd and long. They get it to McKinnon. Let him run. Tripped up. Nice play from behind, because he could have had a pretty big run there. Corey Legent, the defensive lineman, making that play.
Let's focus on Alex Boone and some old school football right here on the screen. He lets the pass rush go, but look at the way he gives up his body. The DB goes low. Alex Boone, he's going to get dirty. He's going to play nasty. He will help these Minnesota Vikings.
This is really unbelievable. The Chargers special teams were bad to epic proportions last year. 84 total yard return yards the whole year, so that's why they signed Benjamin, a wide receiver, but also excellent at returning the football. This one, though, he'll let bounce, and it costs him almost 10 yards. And so the Chargers will take over. 12:09 to go from home, but they're the first ones to have this translucent material, and the sun, you feel like you're outside.
The natural light in here is unbelievable.
Really good. First down for Rivers and company. He's going to let it fly. Coming near side for Benjamin. Almost. Looked like he jumped just a little too early, so he's going deep to Benjamin, who could fly. But Terrence Newman, the old man, still right there with him.
Yeah, Terrence Newman, smart. He says, they got Benjamin on my side. I'm backing up, and still has the speed to go run with Travis Benjamin. But, you know, for the San Diego Chargers, that's good to put on film, because what that will do, that will back people off. And that's what a guy like Travis Benjamin with that elite speed does. He'll give you more room underneath because of the threat of him going deep. So even though it was unsuccessful, good thing to put on film for the Chargers.
Second and 10. Rivers to Gordon and the flag. Tripped up a little bit, and he's going to fall forward out near the 33. You know, Melvin Gordon, we touched on him earlier. Second year out of Wisconsin, a little disappointing last year. This guy was a star, almost broke Barry Sanders' all-time rushing record for a single season. And he's enamored with Adrian Peterson. He wears his number. So he wanted to get in touch with him to work out, and he worked out with Adrian Peterson this whole offseason.
I loved it. I loved it. You want to be great, train with the great ones. He found his way down to Houston to train with Adrian Peterson, and I thought it was great what he learned from Adrian Peterson.
It was funny, though, in those workouts. He said, you know, we raced a lot, and I'm not going to lie, I lost a lot. On a third down, pressure, Benjamin, great catch, and here's the speed from Benjamin all the way out to midfield. Boy, that looked dangerous, but somehow the Chargers made it work.
Well, we just showed him as a punt returner, but this is what he brings. You see the jailbreak. Here comes Minnesota, but you know what? We're going to hit you right back with the jailbreak, and you put it in Travis Benjamin's hands, and watch out, because they're fortunate to get him down. He can light it up. One of the fastest players in this league, and the Vikings are fortunate, but that's the threat that Travis Benjamin brings to the San Diego Chargers.
I think he's under the radar because he was with the Browns and they had all kinds of issues last year, but he had almost 1,000 yards receiving. Here's Gordon stretching the left, grabbed around the neck, and a gain of 1. But just going back to Gordon on that story with Peterson, I mean, he was, you could tell he was in awe of the training methods, of what those workouts were like.
He told this great story. You asked him, what did you learn most? And he said, the guy never gets tired and he never complains. And he talked about the trainer down there, had him in a 3 to 4 hour rigorous workout. And at the end, he brought everybody up. He said, okay, now a mile under 7 minutes. And everybody else was, and AP took off. And the guy said, no, I'm just kidding. But he never hesitates. That's what makes the guy great.
Good learning lesson for the young back who wears his number. Second down and 9. Gordon's out, so Woodhead in the backfield now. Fake it to him. Pressure. Rivers rolls and hits. This is a guy they really like. Tyrell Williams, first-year man who came on the scene late last year.
He's a guy Phillip Rivers really likes. But here's how Phillip Rivers, you talk about pocket awareness. I don't know if there's anyone better. Look at Daniil Hunter is going to beat his left tackle, King Dunlap. He's not a mobile guy, but can you buy some time within that phone booth? Phillip Rivers does it as well as anyone, buying time, extending plays, and finding receivers like Tyrell Williams. A big body that Phillip Rivers really likes.
Read 80! Hey, easy! Hey! Search Tiger! Mike 55! Delta!
Handoff. There's Gordon, and up he goes. Melvin Gordon for 6.
I tell you what, tremendous job by the offensive line, tremendous job finishing by Melvin Gordon. But you saw before that play, Philip Rivers saw the blitz coming. He gets him in the exact right play. He knows he's going to gash him with this play. Great job by Philip Rivers putting him in the play, and a tremendous job by the O-line and Melvin Gordon finishing that play.
And that's the one thing about him. You didn't see it a lot last year, but he has tremendous speed when he gets in the open field. You saw it there. Great job, by the way, Jeff Cohen and our audio guys on that sound to hear that audible. That was cool. And so the extra point by Josh Lambo. Oh, fireworks for a preseason game. It's been fun so far. Kick is up and good. So Melvin Gordon, 39-yard sprint. And Rivers said, yeah, I like that play call. All the way. Gordon in for 6. He's trying to rebound from a tough rookie year, showing you the speed, and that's who he models his game after. Adrian Peterson. Peterson had glowing things to say about him, and we saw it on display with one cut and the speed, and the Chargers in front. Kick return, Patterson slips across the 15, and so tough field position for Minnesota. You want to see jubilation? They're happy for this kid. Ken Wisenhunt, the offensive coordinator, says, way to go, Phil Rivers. Excitement. Bench here at US Bank Stadium. Brand new building, $1.1 billion. And let me tell you, it is awesome. John and I walked around earlier. Really, really neat. Here's Bridgewater. Has time coming. Good pass. Diggs with the dig cut. And out across the 35 to the 37 for Diggs. It's a gain of 20.
Now listen, it all works together. A lot of people on Teddy Bridgewater that, yeah, he can do the dink and dunk. He can't get the ball downfield. Well, you give him time, he'll get the ball downfield. A great example right there to Stephon Diggs. Look at this protection. Vikings. You give Teddy Bridgewater some time, I think it'd be really interesting to see. I think he'll surprise some people how effective he can be down the field.
A little flip. Patterson on reverse, and he's dead. Nowhere to go. Oh, he dropped the ball at the end. I think he got it back. And so that little trickery by Norv Turner goes nowhere.
Now the deal, you know, last year I got on Norv Turner and Mike Zimmer on the broadcast about getting him involved because he's an electric player, as Cordero Patterson. The problem is right now, every time they put him in, it's a gadget. It's a reverse. So everybody, I promise you, when he's in there, something's up. Something's up. Derek Brooks used to say it to me all the time. There's guys you know, so I think you have to incorporate him in the regular flow of the offense, and then you can hit people with those types of things.
He's one of the best kick returners in the game, so you just want to see that somewhere on the field. You're right. So a loss of 6. On second down. Time for Bridgewater, and a lot of it over the middle. That's his tight end Rudolph, and Kyle Rudolph is out to the 42. He's got a pickup of 11, and third down is coming up. I want to go back to your point about Bridgewater throwing deep, because Mike Zimmer said, hey, it's a couple things. It's preseason we worked on kind of giving him the confidence, but it's one of those things. If they're going to bring the safety up, we have got to take advantage of that.
Well, that's the thing. He wasn't effective throwing it downfield, and he should be, because with Adrian Peterson in the backfield, you're going to see more defenders close to the line of scrimmage, so the deep ball should be there. I think so much of it had to do with protection, though, and they've been coaching him into it. Scripted plays to have him throw deep in practice.
Blitz. Bridgewater steps away, fires, good pass, and it's caught by Rudolph for a first down. And now Rudolph fumbles the ball, and it's picked up by San Diego by Verrett. And so after a good play on first down, a fumble, and the Chargers have it. Let's see.
It's McCoyle.
Dexter McCoyle with the strip, and then it was Jason Verrett with the pickup.
Now, Dexter McCoyle is a guy from the Canadian Football League, a 6'4" safety. They've been really intrigued with him. They've been finding a spot. That's how you find a spot.
380! Hey, easy! Hey, search Tiger! 155! Delta!
That's pretty good. That audible work for Philip Rivers. Good way to end his day here as he is out and as Kellen Clemens is in. And so now Rivers will go into coaching mode on the sideline for San Diego. We'll get a look at Clemens. A very good backup. Good chance here with the rest of the starters in. Pressured. Kellen's going to run it. He got a first down. A slide down near the 40. But Rivers has some coaching experience, doesn't he, John?
Well, out in San Diego, I live out there. We reside out there. We have 4 kids, and our kids go to school. My girls' 7th grade basketball team, they struggled in the opener. I think they lost 43-2, and Philip and I are there dying. This nice mom here, she asked, hey, can you help me out? I didn't play basketball in high school. I said, no, but I think I've got something better. Philip Rivers ends up taking on this 7th grade girls basketball team. They get to the playoffs. The girls had more fun. The only thing my daughter couldn't get over was the southern accent. You know, hey, golly, come over yonder. And she's cracking up every time he's talking. What a great, great guy.
What a cool experience. I mean, really neat for those girls. As Brandon Oliver in to get the carry for the Chargers, picks up 2.
The fun thing, Kev, you sat with him yesterday. He's a bundle of energy. And just like he plays with the head always going, always chirping, he was always chirping. He had as much energy as he does on the field, and that's what made it so special for the girls.
How many times can you be in a dome stadium and say the sun's out? I mean, that is a great feature here.
And I'm just telling you, San Diego, I live there. You got to get one of these. These things so cool.
Get into that in just a touch. They're trying to get a new stadium, and they need one. Here's Oliver, nowhere to go. No gain on that play as Sharif Floyd in on the tackle. So we'll bring up a 3rd and 7. A little bit on Kellen Clemens, who's in his 10th year in the league, and he's become, you know, Johnny, he was drafted so high, 2nd round in 06 by the Jets, and maybe never became that star. But he's crafted out a really nice career as a backup, and he's a pretty capable backup.
Well, and he's had a big preseason because they brought in Zach Mettenberger from Tennessee with Ken Wisenhunt, the new offensive coordinator, and his job was on the line, Kellen Clemens, but he's responded. Ken Wisenhunt said he's really calmed down. He's had a nice preseason, and I think secured that number 2 quarterback spot.
3rd and 7 for San Diego. 4-man rush. Dump off coming near side. There's Woodhead. Turns on the Jets, and Danny Woodhead inside the 15. This is a running back who caught 80 passes last year, a Chargers record.
Well, and Kellen Clemens is smart, just like Philip Rivers. Philip was talking yesterday, hey, everybody says get to number 3, which actually he did right there, but you don't always have time to get to number 3, so sometimes, you know what, just throw it to Woodhead, and good things will happen. Danny Woodhead, a remarkable player who really made a nice career in his 9th year. Philip Rivers really believes he could be Wes Welker. He could go out there in that slot and play it just as well. And he's a tremendous player for the San Diego Chargers.
And a first down because of it. Here's Oliver. He gets down near the 10. Yeah, and Woodhead, I mean, you look at the numbers last year that he put up. I mean, it's almost hard to believe. I mean, you could dump it off all day long. You're still not going to get 80 catches for 755 yards, which led all running backs last year. I mean, on your point about the progressions, Rivers told us that Kellen Clemens came up to him and said, you know, you ever find that sometimes the first progression is Danny Woodhead?
It's not a bad idea. Get it in 39's hands. And I tell you, the running back combination, you get Melvin Gordon playing up to his potential. Then you got Woodhead and Brandon Oliver. I think they're well stocked at the halfback position.
2nd and 6. Steps away. Clemens drilled as he throws, and there's a flag. That's going to be a high shot to the head.
There's a receiver in the area. Number 16 was in the area. There's no intentional grounding.
Okay, there you go. I thought maybe they're going to get a high hit there. Instead,
I think they're going to get a hold. But Kellen Clemens takes a shot there. Looks like a legal hit from Linval Joseph.
Totally was.
Holding. Offense number 79. 10-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
79 is Kenny Wiggins rotating at that right guard. They started a rookie today. DJ Fluker, their normal starter, is out. Spencer Pulley, a free agent from Vanderbilt, started the game. Now Wiggins in at the right guard position.
And just on your point, just to follow, that was a legal hit. Head right up in the chest. Doesn't that just show you how hard it is for the officials on the field? Because we're up here in the booth, and just the shot and the way Clemens went down, but then you look and it's totally fine. Not an easy gig. 2nd and 16 after the penalty. Clemens near side, and he's got a completion. There's Keenan Allen, who's going to slip inside the 15, down 9 near the 13-yard line. It'll bring up, we have an injured player, an injured Charger. back behind the line of scrimmage.
Just, you know, we talked about the offensive line, the injuries. This is Joe Barksdale, their right tackle. You know, very solid football player. And the Chargers, we just mentioned DJ Fluker, the right guard. He's in a protective boot with his foot. Now Joe Barksdale down.
He's the only player on that line to start every game last year. They tend to Barksdale. Hope he's okay. We're back to Minnesota in a moment.
Concerned folks on the San Diego Chargers sideline.
So Chris Hairston, number 75, fourth-year player from Clemson, out at right tackle now on a 3rd and 10. Clemens going far side. Allen almost made a spectacular grab, a little too far in front, and now a field goal try.
I tell you what, Kevin, I've been thoroughly impressed. You know, Fox, we usually cover the NFC teams. We watch the whole league, but I hadn't really done a big study on the Chargers in a while. Keenan Allen, he's a true #1 receiver. They've got a big-time receiver on their hands, very sudden. He does everything well. He's very strong. He's just everything you want in a #1, and they've got a heck of a player in Keenan Allen.
Here's Josh Lambo, a good rookie season for the Chargers last year. Good strong leg, and that one is through. 32-yard field goal for Lambo, and extends the Chargers' lead to 10-6. Here in the second quarter with 2:28 to go in the half. Well, college football is back on FS1. All kicks off with a special Friday night edition when Heisman hopeful Christian McCaffrey leads 8th-ranked Stanford against K-State. It all begins Friday night at 8 Eastern on FS1. I know one guy watching. That'll be my partner, John Lynch.
I'll be watching that. Hopefully this year they get it right. Give Christian McCaffrey his Heisman. Should have had it last year.
You could just put Stanford on the East Coast for a while so everyone else could see him play. That might help. John, people affected by severe weather and other disasters need help right now. So to support those impacted by disasters like the floods in Louisiana and countless other crises, please text Red Cross to 90999 to give $10 immediately to American Red Cross Disaster Relief. As we are in Minneapolis today, they've had a couple events here in this new stadium. They had a couple concerts and they had a soccer match, but this is the first football game here, and yeah, it's going to be fun for this team. It's just a gorgeous place. The players were all so jazzed up about it. Coaches were. I talked to Mike Zimmer. So now they got to play good football to go with it. As a kickoff return by Minnesota. Sherrills who takes it. And he's out across the 20-yard line. And that's where the Vikings will take over. Well, we told you about the clear roof, which is fantastic. It allows the sun in. It's the largest of any kind. 5 of the largest pivoting doors in the world, John. They're 95 feet tall. And I'm not sure where there are other pivoting doors, but I know they're cool. I mean, and what they're going to do with those doors, it's very much like a retractable roof, and they can definitely change the wind and things like that coming in. So they have to make a call 90 minutes before the game whether to open them or close them. Today they're closed. Bridgewater's still in the game for the Vikings, and they're going to run it on first down to Asiata.
It brings me back to the old school when Bill Parcells with the Jets and the Giants. Those pivoting doors, I don't know if they pivoted, but he'd open them up whenever we were kicking. I know that.
Game-winning field goal. Those doors might open real quick. 2nd and 5 for Bridgewater. Near side to Charles Johnson, who's got the catch. That'll be a first down for Minnesota. That'll be a 2-minute warning for us. 10-6, San Diego in front. Leading the charge with this Vikings team that, well, some feel can be a Super Bowl contender. They won 11 games last year. Bridgewater back, and he's going to go down for a sack. He had a lot of time that time, but just couldn't find anybody.
You know, that's one thing that you worry about, and it looks like he was looking for Adam Thielen going deep, and they're going to get illegal contact. But one of those deep shots we were talking about, I promise you, they want to get that involved. That's what he was looking for, and the illegal contact, I believe, made Teddy Bridgewater hold on to the ball.
There's no foul on the play for illegal contact. The contact occurred simultaneously as the quarterback was being sacked. 2nd down.
Well, what you're talking about, and we've been discussing, Bridgewater throwing it downfield, at least just taking shots, giving the defense something to think about. Here's what we're doing. You look at it, and anything over 30 yards, they just haven't had any kind of remote success. But I also don't think they've tried it enough either.
I don't think they've tried it enough, and I think also we mentioned earlier how much under duress Teddy Bridgewater was last year, and to throw deep, you need time.
Yeah.
And you know, but as I said earlier, with Adrian Peterson, people are getting as many people up close to the line of scrimmage to stop him. So it's there. They need to make it part of their game, I believe, to take that next step offensively and be an explosive offense.
How about watching Bridgewater today? You like what you've seen?
I really like what I think his fundamentals have tightened up. His feet, he used to be a little loose with those. He's tightened up some of those. You know, Alex Boone talked to us about, we asked him what he loved. He said, I love that he's the calmest guy on the field, and you need that out of your quarterback, and he's able to be calm and still show that fire. He's a great leader. I think this is going to be a special year for Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, I think, you know, we did a lot of Vikings games late last year. We've talked to a ton of their personnel. I think it's pretty obvious he's got the leadership qualities. He can handle the position. Now it's just about production.
And I love, and he loves, how his coach, Mike Zimmer, has had his back from the beginning.
2nd and long. Here comes a stunt. Bridgewater. Good pass over the middle to Johnson. A beauty at midfield and into San Diego territory. It's a hookup of 19 yards.
Now, this isn't 30 yards down the field, but that's a down the field pass. The dig route that Norv Turner has made such a big part of his offense. You have to be able to throw it. And Teddy Bridgewater just did it with perfection.
Minute 30 to go. 2 timeouts for the Vikings in their 2-minute O here. And this one a deep out to Diggs. And that's good for a catch. So back-to-back, there's your shots down the field, and that's another nice throw and a gain of 22.
Well, again, to do this, you need the protection. The protection's great. Stephon Diggs, like I said, he can beat you underneath, but he can also beat you up top. And that's just a beautifully thrown ball with some touch by Teddy Bridgewater. Great protection there. Enough time to step up in the pocket, and that's what I believe Teddy Bridgewater can do when given the time.
2 timeouts for the Vikes. First down. Bridgewater fires over the middle. It's caught by the tight end, Rudolph, and a touchdown. Those were some throws by Bridgewater.
I talked about earlier, to become a more explosive scoring offense, I think Kyle Rudolph, we saw at the end of last year, Teddy Bridgewater started trusting. He's not always, he doesn't separate tremendously. He's not always going to look wide open, but much like Antonio Gates, you throw that guy the ball, he'll use that big body to shield guys, and he'll catch it.
John, they're going to go for 2 here. That temporary rule last year has stuck now, of course, all the extra points. Kick from the 15 and 2-point conversions. And this is a live ball. Remember, you can return this defensively. Asiata on the give. No. Comes up short. Chargers stacked them up. Might as well go for 2 and practice the play in preseason. That's what Mike Zimmer doing there.
Take a look at this protection. You're going to get the ball downfield. You better have protection. And there it is. Tremendous protection. Teddy Bridgewater stands tall. And then Kyle Rudolph. Little shake route right down the seam. Monty Teo almost has it, but Bridgewater shows the trust in Kyle Rudolph. And Rudolph says, that's why you trust me, Teddy. I'll catch it.
Bridgewater didn't play last week, had some shoulder injuries, so Mike Zimmer rested him for a few days in practice, and there was obviously concern here in Minnesota, but he told us Friday, I'm fine. And if you didn't believe it, that last drive pretty much showed you.
Now, that's a good sight for, you know, and I get back to the point about Zimmer having Teddy Bridgewater's back. He's been a little prickly with the press, kind of like one of his mentors, Bill Parcells.
Yeah.
But I think he's tired of people beating up on Teddy Bridgewater. We came with the graphic about how much he wins. And Zimmer will tell you this isn't about style points. It's about winning. But he will add, though, that in terms of style points, he thinks Teddy's going to start showing people this year. With the protection, things are really going to start to develop. And I love the way that Zimmer has had his quarterbacks back. And that's not lost on Teddy Bridgewater.
Agreed. 27-yard touchdown to Kyle Rudolph. It was a 6-play drive for the Vikings. And they will kick it off to Oliver. Brandon Oliver is is going to be cut down shy of the 20-yard line. Troy Studemeyer with a nice play on the special teams tackle. Small screen, stadium-sized content. Watch live local Sunday games on your smartphone with NFL Mobile. And so the Chargers will have 1:13 and all 3 timeouts left as they try to run their 2-minute offense with Kellen Clemens, the backup quarterback, leading a charge now. Fun ball game. 3rd week of the preseason. 12-10 Vikings. On 1st down, it's Clemens, throws far side, it's complete to Williams, and a toss down to the ground, and there's a penalty flag. Trey Waynes on the coverage and potentially the penalty too.
That's a good call by the officials. That's something that's been in the rule book for a couple years. You can't pick a guy and throw him to the ground. But I can tell you, I don't think Mike Zimmer would be mad with that. He wants a little more aggression from Trey Waynes.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 24. 15-yard penalty from the end of the 1st down.
John Hussey's mic breaking up a little bit, but he's explaining exactly what John told you. And look, the penalty is certainly the penalty. There are times, you know, it's hard sometimes to bring a guy down. Look, you're a guy that hit people, but sometimes you're in that position. It's kind of a tough thing.
Well, that's something that used to be legal, but I think along, you know, when you're bringing guys to the ground, oftentimes the head hits the ground,
yeah.
And I promise you that we can find people all they want. They should find the ground. The ground hurts more people in this league than anybody. Yeah. Hard ground, hard surface. And so I think that is a good addition to the rule book. I can't believe I'm talking like this. I'm getting soft.
Who am I next to? I got to go pull up your clips on YouTube and just remind myself.
It's the preseason. I'll get right.
1st down. Here's Clemens in the flat. It's Oliver, and he gets cut down. No flags on that one. As there's Trey Waynes coming back.
And text from my teammates already.
Oh my goodness. This is now, John. This is. There you go.
You bring the arms. You shoot them. Good job by Trey Waynes getting him down. He's a big-time player, though. He's got everything you want from the cornerback position. This new breed of corners that are over 6 feet. He runs a 4.3 40, a very bright future Trey Waynes has, and Mike Zimmer is going to bring it out of him.
Oh, yeah.
He coaches them hard, as he does all his players, but he also loves his players, and they know that.
John, reminder coming up at halftime. We've got the guys from Houston, Kurt Menefee, Charles Tillman, and Jake Lazer's there, too. He'll give you the updated status on Tony Romo. Of course, the news about his back injury, not good for the Cowboys. Because we've got the 2nd game of our doubleheader coming up later. It's the Texans and Cardinals. Football back on a Sunday on Fox. Clemens going far side, incomplete. Was trying for Benjamin over there, and that'll bring up a 3rd down. With 53 seconds to go in this 1st half. 12-10 Vikings lead. Minnesota's got a touchdown from Kyle Rudolph and Teddy Bridgewater. Chargers got a 39-yard run from Melvin Gordon on a beauty of an audible by Phillip Rivers. It's been a good game. Usually these 3rd weeks of the preseason you get some competitive juices flowing.
This is the trial run. You go through a week of preparation. Players are ready. They know they're going to play longer, so you usually get a good effort in this 3rd preseason game.
3rd and 7. Clemens stands in, fires complete. Tyrell Williams with the big strides. And this is a guy whose first NFL catch came late last year against Denver. It went for 80 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, and then, you know, Phillip Rivers, everybody I talked to down at Chargers practice, I went down last week, they said Phillip loves him. That's a good thing for a receiver when the quarterback loves you. But Phillip said to us yesterday, look, in practice he's been great. The short amount of reps that he's had during the regular season, can he do it when the lights come on? He's showing that he can.
Clemens going deep, looking for Benjamin, overthrew him. Really no chance there. Mackenzie Alexander, the rookie out of Clemson, 2nd-round draft pick, was nose for nose on the coverage. And so it'll bring up 2nd and 10. Again, all 3 timeouts, 42 seconds to go. Already in field goal range for their kicker, Josh Lambeau, although it's a long one. This Vikings defense, most of the first teamers have played for most of this half here this afternoon. Pressure. They set up a screen to Oliver, and he slipped. That could have been big. Emmanuel Lemur came over from the Bengals. The linebacker was there on the stop.
Well, you want to add depth, and that's what the good teams do. As you see Oliver hurting, you hope that's just a cramp for Brandon Oliver, because he's a big part of this team, the third running back, but plays those precious reps to take some off Melvin Gordon. But you hope that Brandon Oliver is all right. But Lemur, that's a luxury, bringing in a guy like that who started a lot of games. Remember, Mike Zimmer came from Cincinnati. He was the defensive coordinator, and Lemur's going to help them. Mike McCoy on the field to check on Brandon Oliver.
Yeah, one of the new rules this year, they're trying to clean the field up in these situations. So just the head coach, they don't want really a whole horde around these injured players, just safety issues. So as they work on Oliver and hope that he's okay. We've seen one injury in this game with the right tackle Joe Barksdale going down. Just slipped and went down.
Right away you see Brandon Oliver in some pain. And you know, as I look at that, I don't think it happened on the hit at all. I think it when he first went to cut, and you just hope that that ankle, everything's all right for Brandon Oliver.
Chargers 10 to their running back with 35 seconds. You might want to not look at this replay because we're no doctors, but it certainly looked like one of those non-contact Achilles injuries. If you want to look, you look at the right calf, and it's not pretty, and you'll see the vibration right there. Oh gosh, that's just feels so bad for him right now. And that's the issue with these preseason games, and that's why even John Harbaugh was saying today, I'm not sure if we need them. And you could always feel like that when you lose a key player.
You know, and then there's the other side of people, and I might be one of them, that maybe guys don't play enough in preseason anymore.
Interesting.
And so, you know, combined with the year-round training that players are doing on their own, you never give your body a rest, but you're seeing more and more of these lower leg injuries. That's very concerning.
This is second Achilles that the Chargers have had in the last, what, week and a half. They had Jeff Cumberland, their tight end, who they expected big things from, and he had the same injury. I mean, look, we don't know, obviously, but it certainly didn't look great. A third down and long coming for Kellen Clemens. Pressure, steps away, incomplete. He was looking for Dreamus Smith, who came in at running back for Brandon Oliver. So you think that, and even though a lot of people think preseason's, I don't want to say a waste of time, you think there's actually maybe guys aren't playing enough, and maybe once they get out here, their body isn't used to being hit. And that time was a no-contact injury.
That's a non-contact, but I still think there's nothing like game reps.
Yeah.
And I think for even players in their 14th, 15th years, I felt like I needed some game reps. I didn't need 4 games worth.
Right.
But I wanted some live action to get in that flow before the regular season.
Punt by the Chargers here. And they'll get it down inside the 5 with 21 seconds to go. Likely take a knee, and that will take us to the half. And so Teddy Bridgewater will come up. Might as well practice the kneel down. That's part of the whole quarterbacking routine too. I'm sure this will probably be the last we'll see of Teddy, but you never know. He's had a good first half, 12 of 16, 160 yards and a touchdown.
I've been impressed with the way Teddy Bridgewater has looked, and more impressed with the way they've protected him. And remember, they're doing this without their left tackle, Matt Khalil, who's a big part of what they're going to do. But I think they've upgraded this offensive line, which will help Teddy Bridgewater a ton.
There's the knee. There is the half. And a good one, an exciting one. First football played here at the new stadium in Minneapolis for these Vikings. It's a new home, and it's looked good, and so have the Vikings in this first half. Down to the sidelines with Pam Oliver.
Mike McCoy, obviously we got a couple of injured players. What can you tell me about Oliver and Barksdale?
We'll get an update when we go in. Joe thought he could go back in there, but we kept him out by my choice, and then I'll get an update on Brandon when I get inside.
What do you think of the play in the first half? What did you like that you saw?
Well, I like the big touchdown run from Bell, without a doubt. That was great for him. A great check by Phillip against the pressure they were bringing. The defense creating the turnover. We got to a slow start defensively that first drive, but they held them at field goals the first 2 series in there, so that was a positive.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Back to you.
Pam, thanks very much. Yeah, it's just a shame. There's some good things you said, but the 2 injuries and Oliver's did not look good. But good half of football. as the Vikings had a couple big plays, and they've got a 12-10 lead as we got halftime with Kurt, Charles, and Jay coming your way next.
From Melvin Gordon. A great check by Phillip Rivers, but Melvin Gordon showed the speed, showed the burst that everybody was so high on last year, and a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, you can see they were so happy about that. The negative is they've got a couple injuries in this game for the Chargers. You heard Mike McCoy tell Pam Oliver it seems like Barksdale could be okay. Not sure about Oliver, the running back, maybe less so. So we get set for this third quarter. Teddy Bridgewater, as you said, John, especially in that second quarter, outstanding. 8 of 8 in that second quarter, led a touchdown drive and really threw the football well. But he will be on the bench, I would think, in this second half. And maybe we'll get into some of the backups. Most of the starters played most of that first half. Craig Mager, who's a cornerback, taking back this kick out across the 20. Let's go downstairs to Pam Oliver.
Got a little more injury information from the Chargers. Brendan Oliver, he has an Achilles injury, and he will not be back. Meantime, offensive lineman Joe Barksdale, he has an ankle injury and will not be back. Back to you.
Pam, thanks. So, you know, again, we were kind of showing you the video. It's what it looked like, and that kind of confirms that, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's tough, and you know, it's perplexing why you're seeing more. You saw Benjamin Watson come down with the Baltimore Ravens last night. You're seeing more and more of these Achilles to me, and I wish it would stop.
Yeah. That's for sure. So we started the third quarter. Kellen Clemens, the backup quarterback for San Diego, remains in. And with the injury to Oliver and Gordon done for the day, the running back is Dreamus Smith. He's a first-year back from West Virginia, number 36, and I imagine he would get some good work here in this third quarter after a carry of 2.
Particularly after having lost Oliver. I promise you, Woodhead and Melvin Gordon aren't coming back on this field. They'll play with no backs before they run the risk of injuring them, and that's just you know, the ultimate goal when you're in these third preseason games, any preseason game, is to come out clean and not injured, and unfortunately that hasn't worked for the Chargers today.
On second down, Clemens bottled the high snap. Corral throws near side and then knocked away and nearly intercepted. It was Edmund Robinson on the coverage, looking for Dom Williams, a wide receiver.
Well, you see Edmund Robinson, they've got kind of a profile for these linebackers. They're all big guys. They're incredibly long. They have long arms, and that makes it tough. Those passing angles, those lanes, much like in basketball, those passing lanes cut down when you have length, and that's the profile they're looking for in Minnesota linebackers. You think Anthony Barr, and it works, and it's what they've done in Seattle. They're starting to do that same thing here in Minnesota.
Third down and 8 for these Chargers with the clock at 3. 4-man rush. Clemens in trouble. Stripped. Ball's on the ground. Who falls on it? Looks like the Vikings have it. And they do. Justin Trateau got there with the sack and the forced fumble. And it's Minnesota football.
Well, Kevin, you talked earlier. We asked Harrison Smith, what's the next step for this defense? He said it's all about creating more turnovers, and they're off to a good start. And he talked about sack fumbles. Trateau strips that arm just like you're supposed to. And the Vikings fall upon it. Tremendous job. Trateau working against the left tackle. Puts a little stutter move on him, grabs that arm, get after the ball, and here come the turnovers for the Minnesota Vikings.
Stephen Weatherly is the guy that recovered it, and so on at quarterback for Minnesota is the veteran Shaun Hill. He's been around a while, 15th year for him, and he's got Minnesota already in the red zone. They're going to run it to C.J. Ham, who is your built like a bowling ball running back. This guy is a load to bring down.
He is. All I know is I've studied the film. Every time 30's in, people are bouncing off him. You know, he is a bowling ball, to say the least. And you know, this running back room for the Minnesota Vikings is extremely talented, and he's another one. It's just how many spots do you have? But C.J. Ham doing everything he can to win this job.
Yeah, he's from Duluth, Minnesota, too, so it's got to feel special for him to be out here on a fake. Hill is going to get out to Michael Pruitt. Breaks the tackle. Inside the 10. Lost the football. Flag is down. Minnesota's got it for a touchdown.
They're going to have a roughing the passer as they hit Shaun Hill.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 49. Contact to the head area. The ruling on the field is a fumble, recovered for a touchdown. That penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Well, that was a wild play, and it goes down as a touchdown because Patterson got the fumble recovery.
Well, watch Ben Gardner come off the edge. He's going to get up to Sean Hill. They say he hit him high. There's the roughing, and then Pruitt does the rest. Throwing the football into the end zone. He fumbles, and Cordero Patterson right where he needs to be. It looked like, as a Charger fan, the old holy roller that happened to the Chargers with Dave Casper and the Oakland Raiders years ago.
Luckily, this one doesn't count in the standings, so here it is. I'll look at this one more time. They'll look at it just to make sure it was a fumble. Obviously it is, but they double check. And it was knocked in by the Chargers. It's a live ball picked up by Patterson. That should be good. Sean Hill, yeah, he needs a little help on that play. And so they'll go for two again. Good chance to practice the two-point conversions. They failed earlier in a try, so 0 for 1 on the day. Hill going to throw it, coming near side, and he's got it for a completion for the two. It's the rookie, Treadwell. So it's 20-10, Minnesota with the fumble recovery touchdown, the two-pointer to Treadwell on the jump ball. The Vikings up by 10 in the end zone, and it's a Vikings 10-point lead. And after the penalty, they kick off from midfield.
This is something interesting, Kevin. We're seeing more and more of it. The NFL changed the rule to the 25-yard line. So what has the kicking team done? They started chipping the ball up, and they're trying to pin people inside the 20. We're seeing it more and more.
Yeah, it's going to be curious how they do it. And one of the new rules this year for the league is just what you said. You know, with the touchback of the 25, you think, okay, well, the league is trying to avoid any contact of kick returns. So that's where the head injuries most occur. And but I think the interesting thing is, you're right. You would think, okay, well, teams will just kick it out of the end zone. But now teams are practicing kicking it shorter because they feel, well, why give an extra 5 yards if you could pin them inside the 25? So it's going to be very curious to see. You can see the teams practicing it, though, in preseason. And coaches have come out. Andy Reid said the other day that he thinks it could be a trend. That's going to pick up a couple for Dreamus Smith. So the rule we're talking about is, we look at the special teams unit for Minnesota. This is in the preseason. Last year, first couple weeks, you see the touchbacks, and then this year they're down. Not because the kickers can't reach the end zone anymore, because they're trying to pop it up.
Well, what got me, I was in Denver doing their first preseason game, and Brandon McManus, who has a history of kicking them out of the end zone, he's chipping them up. So I'm going, there's something to this. And as I've talked to the special teams coaches, that is their plan going into the year.
We saw Mike Pereira, our rules expert. We'll get to him after this play as a completion far side, shy of a first down. All right, Mike, so bring us in and tell us about the logic and what you think this is going to do going forward.
Well, I think let's be clear about this, that there's no question the league wanted more touchbacks, and they thought they would encourage the receiver to take a knee. The question is it going to backfire? I don't think we can tell in the preseason because, you know, even though today so far we've had 9 kickoffs and only 1 touchback, you know, 4 or 5 of the balls have been run out of the end zone. So, again, I wouldn't put too much really stock in what's happening in the preseason. I look to see what happens in week 1 to see if really it does have the reverse effect of what they wanted.
No, that's a good point, Mike. Certainly trial by fire here, as this is going to be a first down run as Smith gets the carry.
Hey, Mike, I'd be curious, if you've watched the preseason, you know, the tightening up of the catch rule. If you could explain to everybody out there, I think a lot of people ask me, what changed on the catch rule? Can you add some clarity there?
What, do you have a half an hour? Then maybe I could.
Actually, we have about 27 minutes, Mike.
I think really the big change to me is they've gotten rid of the lingo that says you have to become a runner. It's control, 2 feet, and time, and that's the whole issue. And I've spent a lot of time with Dean Blandino in the last couple of days, and to me, he's cleared it up for me to a great degree, because the element of time really has to do with real time, watching the play in real time at the same speed that the officials watch it. And if it's a bang-bang play, so if it's something that the officials look at in real time and it's not clear that the receiver has control 2 feet and time to turn upfield to ward off contact, then they're going to go incomplete, and replay is going to stay with that. So I think the clarity of the rule is better, and I think if there is consistency coming out of New York, that's the big key to me. If New York stays consistent in staying with what the officials rule on the field, then I think we're all going to have a better understanding, and I really do believe that we are going to achieve that this year.
Yeah, Mike, and I think, John, you know, the other point there in talking about Dean Blandino, head of the rules for this league, look, they brought in Tim Brown and Randy Moss and Steve Largent to discuss this rule. This is not something they're just making up in a back closet somewhere.
Yeah, they put a lot of time into it. It's a difficult rule, but I agree, like Mike, I think they have cleared it up. It's going to take some time to come to fruition.
Meanwhile, 3rd and 12 for San Diego. Clemens steps away from the pocket, going to dump it off near side. And that's going to be up to the 35. They're going to rule the ball down, no fumble. As we thank Mike Pereira, Mike, we'll see you maybe a little later in the broadcast clarifying our rules today and all year long. Have a good one later.
You got it, guys.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, so that's good stuff. And yeah, look, I think the catch thing is, I think it's hard. You know, it used to be back in the day, just 2 feet, but it's obviously the slow-mo cameras and the instant replay has changed, and that's why I think I like what he said about real time and bang play. You know, if it doesn't look right, it shouldn't be a catch.
That's right.
Troy Studemeyer back to return the punt, and he slips and falls, and he's out to the 15-yard line. That's where Minnesota will take over. 10:17 to go in the third, and it is huge. It is gorgeous, as you would expect. Maybe a little different, John, even though you just got done playing a little bit ago. But this is spacious, and a lot of room for the players. You know, watch the offensive lineman on the left. They're all laughing because on the right,
that guy,
Alex Boone.
There's Alex Boone, Mr. Personality, giving him a hard time. I'm telling you, you need guys like that in the locker room. Alex Boone going to be a great addition on the field and off for the Minnesota Vikings.
Joel Stave is the new quarterback for Minnesota, the rookie from Wisconsin. A great career, a great college career. And this is C.J. Ham backpedaling his way out to the 20. This is a guy that went 31-10 in his days in Wisconsin, just knew how to win ball games, and currently 3rd quarterback on this roster.
I got a big chuckle. You know, he's running the scout team, so he was running Charger plays the other day, talking to Mike Zimmer on the field, and he was throwing interceptions on perfect. And Zimmer said, I don't know what you're doing. Are you doing that on purpose? That doesn't make us better. And Stave said, I thought I was helping the team. So he learned his first lesson real quick from Mike Zimmer.
Going to run it again, and that is going to be going backwards. Good pressure up the middle. It was Ryan Carruthers who was on the tackle.
Carruthers right here in the middle. Going to penetrate, and that's what kills a run game, penetration. Ryan Carruthers. See the overhead view? That's how you play good defense. You play in the opposing team's backfield. Ryan Carruthers, a guy with an opportunity. Damian Square out for the first 4 games due to a suspension. Bosa not here as of yet. So opportunities are available, as Mike McCoy said, opportunities of a lifetime for some of these other guys.
Yeah, and we get a penalty on the play.
Neutral zone infraction, defense number 58. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So that'll move Minnesota just a little bit closer. That's on Torrick Williams, as Mike Zimmer looking on. It's going to be a 3rd down and 4. There's Mike McCoy of the Chargers. Big year for McCoy, coming off a 4-win season in a very tough AFC West, which includes obviously the Super Bowl champs, and then a Raiders team that most think will be really good, and the Chiefs, who were a playoff team last year. And we get a whistle. Vikings call timeout. That's why. Well, John, Mike Zimmer, this is a guy that waited so long.
First start timeout, Minnesota. This will be a 3rd.
So long to get a head coaching opportunity. I mean, this is a guy that Talking from 1979, starting there as a college assistant at Missouri, Weber State, Washington State, okay? And then with the Cowboys, the defensive backs coach there. And you see where he's been around the league here with the Falcons, 6 years with Cincinnati, all good defenses under his instruction. Finally, after 35 years, the Vikings gave him a chance. And the organization is trending upwards since he's been here.
He's doing a tremendous job. He's a leader of men. He's tough on these guys, these young kids. Not easy on them. He drives them hard, but he loves them, and they know that. And they all appreciate and love their head coach.
Meanwhile, Stave gets blitzed, hits, fumbled, and the Vikings do recover the football. Jeremiah Searles jumped on it. Ben Gardner came in and drilled Stave, so the Vikings will have to punt.
When you watch Ben Gardner working against Searles, if you're going to give up the sack, you might as well recover it. Searles laid off the ball, and Ben Gardner unimpeded to the quarterback. Stave says, what happened there? And Jeremiah Searles falls on that football.
So Jeff Locke will punt it away from his own end zone. And he'll be punting to Isaiah Burse, who waits back for the Chargers. From the 36. Oh, Burse with a hard shot. And penalty flags fly.
Well, there was some contact on this hit. That's what being a punt returner in the NFL is all about.
During the return, blocking the back, receiving team number 34. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, you could hear that crack up here. Unbelievable.
Big contacts. Chargers penalties on them. Their football, though, down by 20-10. Vikings lead the Chargers. As Phillip Rivers looks on, he played first half football. And now a lot of backups in this game for the Chargers. Is Kellen Clemens still at the helm over the middle. And he's got Dreamus Smith for a pickup of nearly 9. You know, John, this beautiful new U.S. Bank Stadium here, I mean, it's gorgeous. And a lot of the Chargers people are here looking at it, trying to bring it back to San Diego and say, listen, we need this. And you know, you live down in that area. There's a vote on November 8th, and they're trying to pass a bill to get a new stadium for downtown.
Well, listen, I understand there's a lot of controversy come with the public funding of stadiums like these. But I can tell you from working in the broadcasting world, from playing in this league for 15 years, these stadiums affect cities in a positive way. They bring people to the city. They bring jobs to the city. And if you want to be a big-time city, I think you got to hold on to these teams. And once they leave, they're not coming back. And I just think San Diego's got a decision to make.
Defense, number 91. That 5-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the run. Automatic, first down.
And I know there's a lot of layers to it. And a lot of people say, hey, put in a good product and we'll vote for something like this.
Right.
But again, I think there's such a great sense between the community, the team, the community, and what it does for a city, bringing people to San Diego. Super Bowl's coming every year. It's the greatest tourism advertising you can ever do.
Listen, I mean, the NFL and the Chargers are putting in $650 million, and you're saying, okay, well, where's the rest coming from? It's not coming from taxpayers. It's all coming from a hotel tax that essentially equates to this. If you're a tourist or a visitor, hotel room for $300, you're paying an extra $13 a night. That builds a stadium. It's going to be downtown on the convention center if they can get it done, but they need a 2/3 vote. As a 1st and 10 for San Diego here. And this is Smith outside. Nice cut and a good run inside the 40. And all I'll say is this. They built Petco, the baseball stadium down there, and that downtown looked nothing like it does now. They rebuilt that whole gas lamp district. And I think this would be a great thing for an organization that's been looking and dying.
Spanos came in, visited with us yesterday, as did Fred Moss, who's heading the project for them. And they've got direction in this project. I can't always say that in the past years. They've got great direction. I love what they're selling. 66%, 2/3 in San Diego. That's tough. It's tough. It's a tough political climate there, but I hope it works because San Diego's a tremendous place that people in the league want to go to, and players want to live there, players want to visit there.
Oh, third down coming up. So think of your Mike McCoy, if you're the head coach. You're coming back from a 4-12 year. You've got the number 3 overall draft pick, Joey Bosa, who has held out. He's not there. It's been a distraction the whole time. And then, oh, yeah, you might not have a place to play. I mean, you're trying to get – I mean, that's a lot of distractions for a team that's trying to rebound from a bad year. Not easy. No,
a head coach's job, though, is to say, hey, yes, there's noise out there, but we can only focus on who's here, what's here. He's doing his best to do that, but it's been an uphill climb.
Third down and 2. It's Smith, and Smith fights forward, but I believe he's going to be a little shy of this first down here. Now we'll see if Mike McCoy will want to go and keep that offense out on the field.
This is at that point of the field where you're out just outside field goal range. You aren't going to punt in the preseason. Let's test these guys. Let's put them in pressure situations and see who can respond.
Fourth and 1, and they will run it in. No, they're not going to get it. Stacked up by the Minnesota defensive line. Toby Johnson was there, got some help as well, and the Vikings hold on 4th down and short. D doing the job. Even the backups getting it done. And the first football game at this new stadium has the home Vikings up by 10. In the third quarter, Minnesota football. 1st and 10 from their own 39. Joel Stave, rookie from Wisconsin, is at quarterback. Back to throw. Coming near side, and he's got a completion to Jarius Wright. Yeah, a good looking throw from the rookie for a first down.
Well, as I watched the film, there's a lot to like about Stave. He's got the big stature, 6'5", 230. I think he displayed some mobility. He also showed a lot to be very adept at these touch passes, kind of fitting it over the linebackers. There he hits Jarius Wright. I like what I see from Stave.
Jarius Wright has been battling some injuries in this camp. He's got some good NFL experience, but they've got some receivers this year. Does Minnesota, as Ham gets the carry. So Stave will be the 3rd quarterback on this team. Teddy Bridgewater is the starter, and he had himself a really nice day in the debut at his new home stadium. And this guy was 8 for 8 in the second quarter, made throw after throw. Overall 16, or make that 12 of 16, 160 yards, and then this touchdown to Kyle Rudolph. And as we showed you, used the legs a little too. He just looked real comfortable.
I thought he looked great. He spread the football around. I think what I was most impressed with, the way he worked the pocket and climbed up in the pocket to the side. Kind of looked like Phillip Rivers in that pocket. That's a good sign for Vikings fans.
Terrell Presley who gets the carry and sidesteps. And speaking of Teddy Bridgewater, he's down with our Pam Oliver.
Well, Teddy, tell me what the value is and what was valuable for you in a game like this today.
You know, every time you get to, whether it's in the meetings, practice, or in these games, you get to gain experience. And that's what it's all about, you know, gaining that experience. You take something away each day, whether it's in practice, in the meetings, or in these games. There's always something you can work on and get better at. So, you know, that's the biggest takeaway from today.
What does this feel like? You're looking around at this huge building, these fans are going crazy, you know, something to be proud of and something that can really, motivate the team?
Oh, definitely. And, you know, the crowd, you know, football means so much in the state of Minnesota. And we just want to continue to give them something to root for. You know, to see them out here today in a new facility, a new place to call home, you know, it's exciting. You know, it's a great time to be a Viking. I'm proud to be here. It's a great time to be a Viking fan also.
What do you expect to make the biggest jump in your game? What are you most excited about as far as your game goes?
You know, just being a complete leader. You know, whether it's commanding the guys in the huddle, around the locker room, and just having fun. At the end of the day, you have to have fun. And obviously when you're winning, you know, you have the most fun. So, you know, we want to have that winner's mindset around here. You know, the guys that come out today, you know, flying around, offensive line, moving around, moving guys. Did a great job in the run game today. Want to clean some things up in the red zone. We know that field goals don't always win games in this league. So You know, just having fun, coming out every day. It's exciting.
I saw you juke the linebacker there. Didn't know you had moves like that, huh?
Oh yeah, I have a
Don't sweat on my
couple moves. Just a couple.
Just a couple.
Just a couple.
Okay. Appreciate your time. All right, go listen.
Thank you.
Okay, back to you.
Pam, thanks. That was a nice conversation with Teddy Bridgewater. Give you a little insight of the type of person he is. I mean, he is pretty easy to root for. We've got a chance to know him a little bit the last couple of years. Meanwhile, Joel Stave is directing a nice drive. Terrell Presley on this carry on a second down, and maybe a little short here, bring up a third down. So there's Bridgewater, and you know what? When we talked to him, that was a nice conversation with Pam, but when we spoke with him Friday before the game, we asked him about the O-line and getting pressure. He said, listen, I got to do a better job getting the ball out faster. Everyone points to the O-line. It's on me. That's a leader type thing to say.
He's a leader, and he's a great person on top of it. When I talked to Mike Zimmer, I said, Mike, you've been a little prickly, with the local press and their handling of Teddy Bridgewater. And he said, you know why? Because he's a great person, number one. He wants to be great, and he works to be great, and he knows how to play the game. He knows how to win. What is there not to like and love about Teddy Bridgewater?
So Stave hit, fumble. Chargers look like they have it. There's been some pressure on Stave, and now we see the Chargers do have the football. Chuka and Dulaway, I believe, is the guy that forced it. And yep, there it is. And
they did. It's so important to have that position. Houston's one of those teams. The AFC is wide open. Houston's one of those teams who wants to lay claim to it.
New quarterback for the Chargers. It's Mike Bercovici, who is coming on, the rookie from Arizona State. And you talked earlier how they brought in Zach Mettenberger trying to compete for the 2 job. I think he's going to win the 3 job. He's got a little boxy to him. He played pretty well last week in their second preseason game.
Look, he's a college free agent, but all I know, when I was out at Chargers Park, everybody kept raving about him. He's a fighter. He makes good decisions. He's smaller. He's 6 feet. I seem to remember a quarterback out of San Diego who started his career there at about 6 feet, who turned into a pretty good player, though, in Drew Brees. So.
I think they have an idea how that usually works. That'll take us to the end of the third quarter here from Minneapolis. Been a fun afternoon. Football is back, and that guy took a lot of time to put on makeup, put on the mask, but he's happy. His Vikings in front by 10 after 3. It looks it. It's great. First football game here. They had 2 concerts. They had a soccer match, and getting excited for a Viking season. We've got a 10-point lead over the Chargers. And that time stacking up on the run play on a third down. Looks like they're going to force a punt.
Really good team defense there, and that's the thing that happens when you play great defense in a place. The standard carries on to the seconds, to the thirds. They're growing the depth here. They're coming. Emmanuel Lemur will be a backup, but has starter reps elsewhere. They've got a lot of guys on this defense that can play some serious football. I'm excited to see this Vikings defense develop and to really, I think, one of the elite defenses in the NFL this year.
Drew Kaiser, the rookie, will punt it away. And we get a flag on this one. Studemeyer, chance to return one. Makes a man miss. Good run across the 45, and Studemeyer out to the 48. But let's see what the penalty flag is. John Hussey has the call.
Illegal formation on the defense. The defender was lined up over the center. That is a 5-yard penalty that results in a first down.
John Huss, very fine explanations today. I'm impressed. Well, the NFL and its 32 teams recognize August as Play Football Month, celebrating all youth and high school football players and coaches. The NFL is committed to making the game safer for players and working with partners at the youth level to ensure the changes at the NFL level filter on down to all levels of the sport. Visit playfootball.com for information and for how you can get involved. You see Teddy Bridgewater doing his thing, getting involved with the community.
I love it. I love it. Got to watch some high school football the other night. My son played his first varsity game, Cathedral Catholic High School out in San Diego. Whooped up on a good team from Reno, Nevada, so it was a lot of fun to watch them play. Nothing better than seeing the young kids going out there having a blast playing football.
Ken Wisenhunt is back with San Diego. He's familiar with the surroundings, that's for sure. They brought him back. He was here in 2013. They had an exceptional offensive year as Bercovici out in the flat. And he's got a completion to Smith. And that'll be good for a first down. And so they Wisenhunt went to Tennessee, head coach there. They fired him in the middle of 2015, so they bring him back, and they're expecting. Look, they did some good things on offense last year, but they're expecting to take another level.
And I think one of Ken Wisenhunt's strengths, and you see he was here in 2013, as you said, last time they made the playoffs. And one of his strengths is he plays to the talents of his team. Last year, you have Marcus Mariota, you become a spread team. This year, he went to Melvin Gordon. What do you like best? We want to get him comfortable. They're creating runs in an offense that will accentuate the positives of Melvin Gordon and, of course, of Phillip Rivers.
Well, one thing on this San Diego team, we've talked a lot about what they've got to the table. They add a rookie fullback, last name Watt. You may have heard that name in NFL circles. This one is Derek Watt. Yeah, he's a brother of JJ. TJ is another brother. He's at Wisconsin. Now, look at these pictures that the Watt family sent in. I mean, how great is this from their time growing up in Wisconsin? And so now Derek joins JJ in the league. And, of course, the symmetry, Derek was the fullback for Melvin Gordon at Wisconsin. So they're reunited here, and it's pretty cool. Thank you to Mrs. Watt for sending in those really cool photos.
Yeah, and Melvin Gordon is thanking Mrs. Watt as well, because he's happy to have his, in all seriousness, he says, look, he's another set of eyes for me. He just sees things the way I do. I've got a great deal of comfort and chemistry with him. And Melvin Gordon said he's a very important part of what they're going to do this year. Derek Watt has impressed everybody in San Diego.
There is Watt. He will be back with his old friend Gordon. For now, a third down and long, 3rd and 12 for Mike Bercovici, the rookie from Arizona State. Stands in, tipped at the line. It's still caught by James Jones, who gets drilled and hangs on. If you're wondering, yes, that's the longtime Green Bay Packer who makes the catch. He's trying to make this team.
James Jones had a productive year for the Green Bay Packers last year. 50 receptions, 890 yards, had a big average. So yes, in his 10th year, still has some left. Phillip Rivers was telling us that the biggest challenge for James Jones, he played in the same offense for years in Green Bay. So a little bit of a different offense. He's had some, learning the system. But Rivers was excited to have an opportunity to throw to him. He didn't have that opportunity, but James Jones out here with Bercovici.
Bercovici slips in the play fake, and he goes down. And Jones, it's funny, you talk about his production last year. Remember, Jordy Nelson got hurt. And so all of a sudden they're like, oh, we'll bring our old friend Jones back. He went to the Raiders. The Raiders didn't really work out, and then he had a big year. So still play.
No doubt he can still play, and he's a guy who's made a lot of catches, not just catches, but catches in big pressure situations. The game is not going to be too big for him. He's produced at the highest level. I think an NFL team would be fortunate to have him, and if the Chargers don't have him, someone else will.
Yeah, he'll get picked up if it's not here. 2nd down. Bercovici almost dropped the snap, and coming near side looking for Jones, but incomplete. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and long for the Chargers with 11:21 to go in the game from Minneapolis. 20-10 your score. So good to have football back, John. Pam Oliver's on the sidelines today. John Lynch, and I'm Kevin Burkhardt. You don't normally wear sunglasses on a stadium that's inside, but this place is different. Translucent roof and plenty of glass around to let the sun come in. Very cool, very good work. Sitting on the place that used to have the Metrodome. Bercovici lets it fly way high, and it's going to be intercepted. Jaron Kearse, the rookie safety, with some room to run and a good return all the way down to the Charger 38.
We were talking with Mike Zimmer about the free safety battle. We talked about Griffin Zendeo. He said, don't forget about Jaron Kearse, and Jaron Kearse shows you why.
20-10, Vikings over the Chargers. 11:09 to go. Football back on Fox. Preseason action, regular season in 2 weeks. Get ready for it. And we get a little handoff here from Minnesota after the interception return. Let's go to the Chargers sideline. That's where Pam Oliver has Phillip Rivers.
Phillip, one of the things you guys have talked about just moving forward is the kind of team you're going to be when you take the field. You're going to work hard. You're going to do all sorts of different kinds of conditioning. Give us an idea about some of the steps you guys took for to be the team you want to be?
Yeah, we talked a lot about playing hard, tough, and together, and just kind of making that our mantra and our personality. We had some pieces in free agency, obviously in the draft, and just the group of guys we've had here. And I think we've gotten accomplished what we want to, training camp and preseason, and now we build 2 weeks away here from the opener in Kansas City.
What are you seeing in Melvin? I know you said it seems like he's trying to get it.
I think so.
Specifically how?
Yeah, well, I see him getting more and more comfortable. You know, he's caught a touchdown now in the preseason. He broke the run today, and those things just build confidence. A young back, he had some injuries last year. He turned it over a few times, but he's had a great offseason. He looks healthy. He just seems comfortable and confident, and that's big for a running back.
Do you have any idea what kind of team you're going to be?
Well, obviously we're coming off a rough season, but every year's new. You know, Brandon Mebane wasn't on last year's team. Matt Slauson wasn't on last year's team. So this team has never won or lost a game together. That's the way I look at it. Every season's new. We believe we can win the division. That's our goal every year, and now we just got to go make it happen.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks. Hey, Gunner.
Thank you.
Good stuff, Pam, with Philip Rivers, who's as good as they come in this league. Think about, John, you know, sometimes you look back at draft classes, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. You know, it happens, especially quarterbacks are so hard and so hit and miss. And then you go back to Philip Rivers, and you know, I'd say that class worked out, to say the least. And the only reason he is not always mentioned with the other likes of Roethlisberger and Eli is because he hasn't won a Super Bowl, and that's not entirely his fault. He's had a wonderful career, 13 years in the league. This is Ham on first down. So you're talking about that draft class. It was 2004. Eli Manning, Philip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger in the top 11, and you look at their numbers. That's some pretty good numbers right there by that class.
Incredible. Phillips played some incredible football. I will tell you, it's a shame that team that he played with, 05, 06, that offense was so loaded. You're talking about Antonio Gates,
yes,
LaDainian Tomlinson, Nick Hardwick, Lorenzo Neal, as good a fullbacks ever played the game. They were just loaded, and a handful to play against. Phillip was leading them.
Good throw by Stavi. Down inside the 10 to the rookie Treadwell.
But as we mentioned earlier, he still looks like the same guy, plays like the same guy, and there's no question about it that his love and passion for the game is still there. So I think still years to come for Philip Rivers.
Yeah, he certainly looks that way. Now we'll see if he can get enough help and will this team into the mix in the AFC West, which should be one of the better divisions in football. And so after that completion to Treadwell, you're looking at a 1st and goal for Minnesota. Ham in the backfield, number 30. Give it to him. And he gets a couple blocks. He's down to the 7. He picks up 3 on that 1st down. Of course, we watch C.J. Ham run, and he's a guy that's trying to make a team, and a team that's got some running backs. I know they've got the guy who led the league in rushing again last year, and Adrian Peterson.
Jerick McKinnon looked good today.
Did.
Asiata's a good player. They've got a lot of depth. Kind of a trend in this league. Running backs get hurt, and so people are stockpiling their running back positions.
2nd and goal. Ham one more time. Gets down to the 5. So a 3rd and goal from the 5 coming up. And the thing that you touched on earlier in the game, John, is with having that depth. And they do use all the running backs, but you said they want to use it more. And the reason is because Peterson, as great as he is, still had the most carries in the NFL last year.
And they want to extend this career, and they also want him fresh when it matters most, in November, December, right, in the playoffs. Now, Adrian Peterson, he will tell you, don't limit my carries. I want every single one of them. That's why I train so hard. That's why I work. Truly one of the greatest players this league's ever seen.
Third and goal for Stave and company. Firing incomplete. I was looking for Patterson. I'm not sure he would have got in anyway. He was a little shy of the end zone. So 4th and goal, and that'll be a chance for their kicker, Blair Walsh. So Blair Walsh will come on, try a 23-yard field goal. He's got a 23-yarder and a 33-yarder today. Trying to extend the Minnesota lead. And he does just that. Third field goal of the day for Walsh. 23-10 to score.
Well, Kevin, being here in Minnesota reminds me so much of a great friend, a great man who we lost recently too early, and that's Dennis Green. He was my coach at Stanford, coached the Vikings for 10 years, 8 of those years in the playoffs. An excellent molder of men.
Glad to have you aboard. Little doubleheader of preseason action. Game 2 in Houston. Cardinals, Texans. Joe, Troy, and Aaron got the call coming up after this on that one. Kickoff time. Walsh gets that one out of the end zone. Start on the 25. And we'll be back to show it to you in just a minute. The Vikings in front here in the 4th. Shin McCaffrey leads 8th-ranked Stanford against K-State. It begins Friday night at 8 Eastern on FS1. That will be fun to get back into it as Bercovici comes up firing for San Diego. And he's going to have a completion. It's Rasheed Bailey coming on to make the catch.
And that throw looked a little more indicative of the praise that Bercovici's been getting. A couple errant ones earlier. I tell you, sometimes you come into these preseason games, the NFL balls, remember those officials, particularly these days, they're holding on to them, and you don't see them until they're slippery often. Bercovici, I think, getting used to that.
Yeah. He made a good throw. And the last one, this is Dreamus Smith, who's had the bulk of the carries. Ooh, we have an injured Charger down on the field, and that is Smith. We already saw Brandon Oliver, their running back, go out with, as Pam told you, an Achilles injury. Did not look good. And hopefully he's just trying to stretch out a cramp here. That's Smith trying to make this team. So trainer's out to work on him. It gives us a time, John, to think around the league here. And the NFC, the storylines, there's a lot of them, but here are the main ones. And it's the Rams getting back to Los Angeles and living there. I can tell you it has been big time hype. Now can they live up to it? Carolina, 15-1 regular season, lost in the Super Bowl. Can they repeat their success and be great again? And then, is there a beast in the East? I mean, you look at this NFC East, and I have no idea who the favorite should be. Kirk Cousins and the Redskins won that division last year. 2 new coaches. Cowboys got Elliott, but you heard Jake Glazer tell you Tony Romo is looking like out at least 6 weeks with that back injury, so they've got to start this season with a rookie and Dak Prescott at quarterback. So
you talk about wide open. You know, Washington is a team that really has a legitimate chance there. Cousins can improve upon what he did last year. The defense is growing. Philadelphia looking good in the preseason, so it is wide open in that NFC East.
Incomplete, swinging it out to the near side to Chris Swain. Giants, not sure I have a read on them yet. Brent McAdoo, the new coach, taking over after Tom Coughlin was there for years, won a couple Super Bowls, and they added a lot on defense, but sometimes that always doesn't just gel right away.
Yeah, you would think, though, you know, the 3rd year now in that offense that Ben McAdoo brought in, that Eli Manning continues to feel more comfortable. Get Victor Cruz back healthy, you would think there's going to be improvement there. And this defense, they've got the resources now. We'll see what they can do.
3rd down for San Diego. Blitz coming. Bercovici stands in, low throw. Going other side of the field. Just couldn't get enough mustard to get it out there.
You talked about the Rams back in L.A. Remember, it was for a long time assumed to be the Chargers that were going.
Yes.
I think they picked, I know, in fact, they picked the right team. The excitement in the Los Angeles area.
Wow.
Unbelievable how excited these fans are for the Rams. A lot of holdover fans that are still there from when they left for St. Louis. So happy to have football back in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, you know, and Case Keenum's going to start the year at quarterback for them. Their rookie Jared Goff has not had a great preseason, and I think they prefer the #1 overall pick to sit and learn for a little bit before they throw him in there. So we know one thing, Rams will have their work cut out for them with Seattle and Arizona in that division. Teddy Bridgewater and Mike Zimmer, that's a good combo, hoping to lead this team to big things. A better answer after last night, that's for sure. For the Broncos, will Luck return to top form? Question after watching last night is, will he stay alive behind that offensive line? And then, is Tom Brady out the first 4 games from the suspension? And how are the Patriots going to react with Garoppolo at quarterback? That will be some storylines to watch in the AFC, which we dive into after this, with Stave leading the Vikings deep in their own territory on 1st down. So let's start with the Denver Broncos. You know that team well. You play for the Denver Broncos, and I remember when we watched practice last year, we were doing a game. He said, watch this kid that can throw the ball. That kid was Trevor Siemian.
Yeah, Trevor Siemian can flat out throw the football. Very natural thrower of it. But I tell you, Siemian, it looks like is going to start, but he's just sitting, holding the spot at the dinner table for Paxton Lynch. I have been thoroughly impressed by Paxton Lynch. I think he's got big time upside to him and the potential. He's 6'7", tremendously athletic. He's going to be a fabulous quarterback. The Broncos hope that they put Siemian in there and he holds on, because that would mean they're having success.
No question about it. As the Vikings going to keep it on the ground to Jarrell Presley. So how about Andrew Luck? You know, he got the richest contract in NFL history, and he got just beat up last year, you know, John, behind an offensive line that had some issues, and then Luck had injuries, threw a lot of interceptions, wasn't his normal self. How about Andrew Luck now, behind a humongous contract, trying to live up to that?
Well, look, Andrew Luck is a tremendous player. You know, I think Andrew Luck sat back last year. Watch Matthew Hasselbeck, quarterback that team, spread the football, get rid of the ball, and he told us he learned a ton from that. And I think that's something he's got to incorporate into his game. There'll be a time to be the hero and use that huge stature, but he's got to protect himself. Hopefully they've solidified that offensive line a little bit to help him out.
And a timeout call by Minnesota, with a 3rd and 4 staring them in the face. And then you've got the Patriots, as we told you, without Brady, so they turn to Jimmy Garoppolo for the first 4 games, and that'll be just weird to see him without Brady at quarterback.
Yeah, it really will be. But they're the New England Patriots. I mean, you want to pump the balls up, you want to deflate them. They're going to win football games. That's what they do. You know, Tom Brady's been a big part of that, but they are a football team. And I think they'll show, and like a lot of people say, and you believe, if they can just get out of there 2-2. I started looking at that schedule, favorable schedule early on. They may well come out of that 3-1. You give a 3-1 lead to Tom Brady, he's your closer. He'll bring you home.
Yeah, that would be the time to get the Patriots, that's for sure. If you're in that AFC East, the Bills and the Dolphins or the Jets, see if they can do it. 3rd down after the timeout, keep it on the ground, and that is not going to go anywhere. Presley is stopped. Nick Dzubnar was there on the tackle. A little under 3.5 to go in this 4th quarter.
Dzubnar, the special teams leader for the Chargers in tackles last year in his rookie season. Out of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, their special teams demon last year, really came in and elevated that special teams with his play.
And so a 4th down and a punting situation. Locke will punt it away. High short kick. Fair catch, call for fumbled, and it's picked up by Minnesota. Would you look at this? It's a muff, so you can't advance it. That's a shame, because Terrell Sinkfield thought he was going to have 6. Instead, he'll have to bring it back to the spot of the fumble.
Touch the ball.
Listen, it's regular season 2 weeks away. I got a little excited there too, John. I'm sorry. I'm ready for football.
Broadcasters need the preseason too.
Listen, I stumbled on my own words about 10 times today.
Help us, Mike Pereira.
Every weekday morning, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp go head-to-head on the day's hottest sports topics. Undisputed with Skip and Shannon premieres September 6th at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, and it's only on FS1.
I tell you what, I've tried to debate with Shannon Sharp. You don't win many of those. I think he's going to have a lot of people rooting for him.
So they are looking at this play. They're reviewing this play. So while we are losing one great member of our crew, Brian Dwyer, who is technically listed as one of our computer stats guys, but there is no scope to put on a title for what he has done for us for the last 3 years, and it's going to be tough without him. We're going to miss you.
After review, the ruling on the field has been changed. Once the San Diego player touched the ball, he then stepped out of bounds. His other foot then touched the ball. When a player is ruled out of bounds, then the ball is dead by rule at that spot. It will be San Diego's ball, 1st and 10 on the 48-yard line. Clock operator, will you reset the clock to 2:42? 2:42.
Oh, so that's what happened. That's a very... Didn't see that, John, on the first replay.
Nor did I.
Wow, good catch.
Thank you.
I mean, literally the cleat touch that football. He's out of bounds. That there makes it a dead ball and San Diego's ball. Mike Zimmer's going, wait, what the heck's going on here?
John Hussey and Dean Blandino and the crew back in New York on their A game. That was good work. Didn't see that foot touching. So it is San Diego's football. But anyway, Bride, we'll miss you. Good luck, buddy. I think before he leaves, he will print out your boarding pass for the way home.
He does every week. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Oh, man. As the pass is completed, and the catch is made by Rashid Bailey. Today's game directed by Artie Kepner, produced by Pete Macheska, and just well done by our entire crew being back together. We're going to get a face mask here on J-Ron Curse.
Personal foul, defense, face mask, 15, half the distance to the goal, number 27, automatic first down.
Associate Director today, Eric Mandia. Tyler Dare, our BA. TD, Clyde Taylor. And Technical Director, Vince Hutchinson. Jeff Nelson and Mitch Smith up here in the booth with us, John. Bill Harmon couldn't do without all these guys and gals. Throwing to the end zone, Alexander! Almost. The rookie got his mitts on it, just couldn't haul it in.
Now, Mackenzie Alexander, a second-round draft choice this season that Mike Zimmer and the Vikings are extremely high on. They think he's really going to become a good player, but there's a reason he's playing cornerback and not receiver. He needs to work on those hands, but Mackenzie Alexander, he's got everything you want as a corner, and Mike Zimmer talks about him. The best thing he has, the guy loves to compete. Doesn't want a ball caught on him.
Second down and 10. Bercovici and tipped again. He was firing for the end zone. Andrew Sendejo was there to get a piece of that one.
You know, interesting, Kevin. I think kind of a model. This is a copycat league, as Mike McCoy said yesterday, a league of thievery. I think John Elway figured out people are throwing more than ever. Get strong on the perimeter. It used to be strength down the middle. Strong on the perimeter and multiple corners. The Broncos go 4 corners deep that could start on most teams. I see the Vikings really trying to emulate that, drafting Mackenzie Alexander when they're already exceptionally deep at corner.
And this is taken away. There is Alexander. He got his hands on that one.
He dropped the easy one, catches the tough one, but that's the kind of competitor. He wanted another opportunity. He went and got it. Big time play by the rookie.
We do have a flag far side of the field. Excellent concentration, but the penalty is way back behind the line of scrimmage at the 25, so let's see.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct of the defense. That foul is in the category. If number 20 commits another foul in the same category, he will be subjected to ejection.
So that's a rule, a new rule this year, John. 2 unsportsmanlike conduct in the same game, and that's a disqualification. It's a 1-year trial on that rule. And as we look at the replay, the reason that really stems from the Odell Beckham, Josh Norman game last year. And you're thinking, well, wait a second, you know, personal fouls? No, it's taunting or throwing a punch, anything verbal. It's not a football act. That has to be 2 non-football acts.
And there it is, going to the sideline of the Chargers, taunting in front of them. And Kevin, I commend the league for taking a hard stance, because I don't think any of that taunting, and it does trickle down to the younger guys in football. But I tell you, the day somebody gets ejected, but Mike Zimmer, he's telling them right now, nice job, but don't ever do that again on my football team.
That's a way to learn it for sure. So he made the play, learns the lesson. 2-minute warning. Vikings in the lead. Go here from Minnesota. Vikings football, they lead 23-10. And a reminder, game 2 of our doubleheader coming up from Houston. It's the Texans and the Cardinals. Football back on a Sunday on Fox. Looks good to me. As look at the Vikings team that won this NFC North last year. I think people forget about that, John. You know, they won 11 games. They beat the Packers in the regular season finale to win the division. Of course, the heartbreaker first-round loss to Seattle. Here's what they got to start the year: at Tennessee, who should be an improved football team, and then they open this building officially against Green Bay on Sunday night, and then Carolina. That's no easy task.
Not at all. I mean, Tennessee is playing really good football. This exotic smash mouth, they're calling it down there in Tennessee under Mike Mularkey. And Chad Greenway, we're talking to him on the field. We cannot sleep on them. Green Bay, what a way to open this up during the regular season. And then Carolina Panthers, as talented a football team as there is in this league.
They sure are. That is not an easy start to this Vikings team. He's got a lot of high expectations, as that'll move the chains, and that should probably do it. Adrian Peterson did not play, will not play in their final preseason game, but will play week 1.
No doubt about it. And, you know, it was interesting talking to Mike Zimmer. We talked about what he's most excited about with this team, and he spoke of the improved offensive line. Well, his biggest concern, he said, is managing those expectations.
Yes.
And to him, he's not afraid of embracing that as a team, but also they're a young team, and telling these guys, we've done nothing yet. We got to go prove it this year.
They will take a knee. I think Pam will go catch up with Adrian Peterson when this is over and get his thoughts on the first game here in this Vikings team. It's Teddy Bridgewater. Well, that's the story from Minnesota. He played the first half, and he looked really good. 12 of 16, 160 yards and a touchdown after missing the last game with a little shoulder thing. Vikings fans have to feel good about what they saw from him today. And for San Diego, their second-year running back, Melvin Gordon, had a down rookie year. All eyes on him. A big touchdown run today, 39 yards out. And so those the positives, the main ones from these two teams here today. And so you look at Adrian Peterson, John. Led the league in rushing last year. 31 years old. Seems like he's still in absolute prime form. And you look at the most rush yards ever through their first 120 career games. AP is right up there in the top 3 as fireworks go off in the background. Now this is interesting. Most rush yards from age 31 and up. That's where Peterson is now. And then can he actually catch Emmitt Smith? I mean, he needs a lot of yards. 6,681 yards. That's a lot of yards, but he doesn't show any signs of slowing down at all.
Not at all. Just ask Melvin Gordon, who said he tried to compete with him and race him, and he said he got him a couple times, but 99% of the time, Adrian Peterson, there is no sign of slowing down for that man.
Alex Boone, I don't think you'll see him slowing down. He's trying to get this offensive line in shape. There you go. That's Gordon and Peterson. The two worked out in the offseason. Gordon wearing that 28 because Peterson was his favorite player. And that favorite player, Adrian Peterson, is ready to talk to Pam Oliver. Pam?
Well, not a lot of action for you today, or none at all, but when the season gets cranking, what are some of the things people can expect from you, with everybody having such high expectations, including yourself?
You know, just the norm. You know, when I come out, giving it 110% on every play. So, you know, that's the best thing I can offer.
Tell me about just some of the improvements or changes to the offense, and particularly the offensive line and the energy that's been brought back there. Why would you guys be better there?
I feel like we'll be more balanced as offense. They did a great job over the offseason, bringing in some offensive linemen to kind of tighten that group up, and those guys are playing more aggressive. A lot more zone runs as well as zone schemes, and I'm looking forward to getting out and experiencing that as well, and also plays out the shotgun. You know, so we've been doing pretty good this offseason. I mean, during training camp and the preseason with getting those plays in and get some good looks on film, and I'm looking forward to it for the regular season.
Okay, we'll be watching.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Adrian.
All right, Pam, Adrian, thank you very much. 23-10, the final score. Vikings over the Chargers here today as they open up a brand new stadium. It is gorgeous in downtown Minneapolis. You look at their locker room. Packed house today. It was sold out show as the home team took care of the Chargers. Coming up next, Cardinals and the Texans. Kurt Menefee and the guys will take you there down from Houston for game number 2. For Pam Oliver.